Hello, thank you for joining the last session at this conference. As has been mentioned, I will be talking about some lessons that we have gathered during many LLMs projects that we have delivered in various industries. When I respond to the call for speakers at this conference, we were after a few of the projects, but the final version of the presentation has been prepared relatively lately. So I wanted to gather what was the lessons that was implemented in more than one project and are more general for this type of solutions. Shortly about me, as has been mentioned, I'm leading the data science domain at SoftwareOne. I've been involved in the data analytics for 10 years now, and except of leading the data science domain, I'm also trainer and lecturer. What I will be talking about is mostly related to Azure AI services. So my first question is, how many of you has been using Azure AI services once or on the daily basis? If you can raise your hand. Yeah, so I see a few hands raised. So I hope that some of this information won't be boring for you. What I will want to go through are mainly a few lessons which we have learned from the project, and it will also be based on the, I would say, most popular implementation that are currently in place in the LLM world. So I think that the most popular implementation, which also has been mentioned in the previous presentation, is chatbots. So a lot of companies that has seen the possibility and the capabilities of the ChatGPT wanted to use its power on their own data. So this is all about the enterprise chatbot. So we have some kind of information, some kind of documents in all of the organizations, such as policies, such as roles and responsibilities, and so on. And the companies want to deliver this information to the employees, the customers, so they don't have to go through all of the documents on their own. The typical architecture, the typical RAG architecture in the Azure solutions is, of course, some kind of application which is which is user-faced. The users provided the questions which they want the answers for, and the first point in Azure is Azure AI search. So the query from the user is being provided as the knowledge based on the documents which are stored in some of the data sources. It can be some kind of PDFs, DOCs, Excel files, and so on and so on. So having this knowledge, we are providing this context as the RAG solution to the Azure OpenAI, which is the Azure service for the large language models, together with the prompt, with some system message which we prepare earlier. And based on this prompt, we have the response which we can provide to the user. Of course, which is the most important service, which is the heart of the solution in this case. It may be seen that the Azure OpenAI is the most important service here, but from our experience, the one a little bit up. So the Azure AI search is the most important service, and to be honest, the single point of failure. So of course, if we will provide the wrong information, if we provide the wrong knowledge to the model, the LLM won't correct it, won't do anything about it, but just provide the wrong answer to the user. And the main issues that we have seen in such solutions is about the indexes. Just to be on one page, the short recap for most of you about the indexes and what is it. When we have the document in the organization, as I mentioned, it can be some kind of policy about the overtime. We have a lot of such documents about the overtime policy, about the roles and responsibilities organization, about the hierarchy in the organization, and so on and so on. So all of these documents we put into the index, which will enable us to find the information from the using Azure AI search. We can, if we want to go into the tabular world, we can compare the index to the table. And all of the documents can be seen as one of the row in the table. So what can be problematic in this approach? Let's imagine that I think that maybe not all of you have seen the drug product characteristic, but I think that most of you have seen the patient leaflet for the drug products. In this leaflet, we have in most cases the information in the specific structure. So we have some kind of information about the drug name, information about the pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics. We have information about the adverse effects, and so on and so on. So we have, for all of the products, for all of the drugs, we have similar information in similar structure, and the only difference is the name of the drug and the substance that the drug has. Of course, the information are different, but where we can find the information about the drug is only in one place. Similar we can have with the cars. So, for example, we have some kind of price list, some kind of catalogs, but it all looks like in very similar way. Yeah, so we have the information about the technical specification. We have the information about what that car has, interior, exterior, and so on and so on. Some photos. So it all looks very, very similar. How can we deal with it? The approach is to create the indexes for the subdomains. So, for instance, we have some kind of information in the document, but we put the information related to the one product to one index. So, if we will find the information like in the table, we'll have all of the information about the Volkswagen Tiguan, about Kia Sportage in one index. So we won't misunderstand the information that are provided from the different product. The very similar approach can be used also if we have, for example, multinational company, and we have the documents in several languages. So also all of these languages should be provided as separate index. So if we want to find the information in Polish, it should be found only in the documents which are in Polish. If we have the information in German and we are looking for information in German, we should find the information in the German documents. Regarding this is also very important from the chatbot perspective, how we split the documents. Because of course, we can just put everything in the context. So if we will find the information about the roles and responsibilities, so we ask about, okay, what is the responsibility of the data scientist in our company? And we have this information in the document about roles and responsibilities of all the roles in the companies. So of course we can provide as the context the whole document. But what would be the problem with it? Of course, the costs. Because if we provide the more context, the more information we'll provide to the large language model, the more costly it will be. So the very important case is also to split these documents in the proper way, and to do it, we should also remember that we're still in the area of machine learning. So the best answer how to split the documents is to experiment. So to finding the optimal way of splitting by experiment and by monitor the effect of this splitting. Okay. The second very popular implementation is everything on contact center analytics and automation. And one of the project which we have delivered in this area, I will also present to you. So imagine we have the contact center, the help desk, who are answering the question about the everyday problem of the employees in the company, such as, okay, I have the problem with Teams application, I have the problem with my laptop, I have the problem with my system, and so on, and so on. So every time the consultant has to put all the information in the ticket system, and then dealing with it on the first line or the second line, and so on and so on. So to make it a little bit more automate, we can transcribe the conversation between the employee and consultant, then using Azure OpenAI to summarize what we have discussed about, and then providing the information to the ticket system, which will be the most important with the prompt engineering. So in this specific case, what was the goals and what was the fields in the ticket system which should be provided? The first, the simplest, the easiest one, of course, the name of the employee, as you may see in a few slides. It seems to be the easiest one, but not every time is. The second, also very simple, so the organization. The company has a few organizations whose employees can call the help desk. So we also want to map the information from the name with the specific organization. Then the short description, so like 10 words, okay, for user XYZ, the Teams doesn't work, or there is, I have forgotten the plug to my computer. And the most complex, the category and subcategory for the ticket. In this case, there were like 60 categories, like telecommunication, like the applications, and several similar categories, and over 700 subcategories. So each category has some subcategory, as in this case, in communication, we had intranet, we had website, and so on and so on. So the lesson 2, in this case, was how to provide this information to the ticket system. And in this case, it reminds me when we going through the street and we see some warning sign, which is completely curious, and we are thinking, okay, so what is the story about behind that someone decided to put this warning sign on the street? And the same is with the prompt engineering. Sometimes it's, okay, what has the LLM generates that someone decided to put such information in the prompt. So the first case, of course, the summarization. So we just want to create the summary, want to have the summary about 200 words, so we provide this information, and we inform what kind of information we want to have from the summary. In this case, it was the first and the last name, the detailed description of the reason for the conversation, and also the solution that has been proposed. Because of course, for the second, for the third line, it will be important to know what was the previous tried solutions. And about these warning signs, we have also do not include summary, because sometimes the summary has been put into the beginning of the response from LLM. Okay, the second thing, I think the most important, is the key feature extraction. So we also have this field's name in the format last name, first name. We want the short description, so this maximum 10 words like Teams doesn't work, and the type notification. It's also good if you have the list of the type of notification to provide this closed list to the model, so it knows from what kind of information they can choose from. As you may also seen, there is a few times information that the answer should be provided in the form of JSON file, so it will be easily understandable by any system. Okay, and the third thing, the category, which also has to be engineered a lot. In a few slides, I'll also show you what was the difference in the just from the prompt engineering in the accuracy of the model. So we have the available categories, and what was one of the issue in the first iteration was that if someone told that, okay, I have problem with Teams application. If the user has the problem with the Word application, it all lies into application category, where there was the specific category for Office 365, which should be chosen. So this information has been also provided into the prompt. Very similar situation was with the devices, so like telephone, laptop, iPad, all should be categorized as the workplace category. And last but not least, reply with just the category without any additional information. So we want just 1 or 2 words, which is responsible for the categories, because sometimes it was like category and some comment from the LLM. And of course, subcategory was just to choose from the subcategories which are relevant for the categories chosen before. Of course, if the categories has been chosen in the wrong way, the subcategory was also wrong. And the second, the next lessons about the GPT models which are available in Azure OpenAI. Basically, there is currently Azure the GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. This specific project has been delivered in the Netherlands in Dutch language. What we have seen that for English, for example, the differences between the newest model and a little bit older and, of course, a less expensive model is not as big as for, I would say, other European languages, as Dutch, as Polish, as Ukrainian. This differences is much bigger, which you can see in this message type, in category, in subcategory, that the accuracy was completely was a lot lower for GPT 3.5 than GPT 4. In the GPT 3.5, this first iteration was provided without these additional comments in the prompt. Yeah, so there was no information about the prompt, about this application, about these devices, and so on and so on. So this differences is because of it. And last but not least, I talked to you that the easiest thing to recognize will be the name, but not in this case. In the first iteration, it was 0%. Why was that? Because of the wrong table that has been provided from the customer side. So the names hasn't been recognized, hasn't been the same as it should be. What's also important from the infrastructure perspective for the LLMs, that in Azure environment, all of these Azure AI services like Azure AI Search, Azure OpenAI, and so on, can be provided in form of the private endpoint, in form of the can be of course authenticated, and so on and so on. So this all of the services responsible for the security can be provided, and is depending solely on our use case. So if we have the use case that have the company data which are strictly top secret, we of course should provide other security layer which is available than if we have the data that can be seen for the public every time. Okay, and a few additional lessons that I wanted to provide. So the first is about streaming the answer. Regarding the chatbots solutions, we should always remember that for the user, it's more important to see that something is being generated than to have the answers very fast. So for most people, it will be better than that the whole answer will be about after 10 seconds, but something will be generated during this time, rather than having this information after 5 seconds and having anything in the background. So this 5 seconds seems to be forever. The second thing is about the fine-tuning the model. So fine-tuning the model is providing our own data, providing our own information in form of the question and answers, prompt and completion to the model, so to train it on our own data. From the Microsoft documentation, the minimum number of the prompt completion pair is 10. As you may think, 10 for any ML solutions is a very low number. From our experience, it's rather maybe if we will add like 5 or 6 zeros, it will be more reliable. But fine-tuning the model is definitely something that we should really consider, that we really need it, because for example, currently the models is developing in very fast manner. Okay, so we will create this fine-tuned model, and after 1, 2, 3 weeks the new model will be provided, which will be much better than our fine-tuned models, and that's why fine-tuning will be only applicable if we will have really specific use case, such as detecting new drugs. This is something which fine-tuning models may be beneficial. And last but not least, of course, the LLM training. So if we have we want to train the own model, we also should have really a lot of good quality data to be able to do it. A few articles about how many tokens per parameters we should have you can find on this slide. That's all from my side. If you would like to stay connected, feel free to join me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any question, feel free to ask.
Hey, thank you. So what's your experience with having a multilingual knowledge base? And I'm wondering whether you had the documents, like duplicates in different languages, or whether they were different, and how you tried to manage, you know, it's one thing to manage a single language knowledge base and take care of like new information that conflicts old information, but when you also have translated versions of the same documents, that's another headache. You can probably guess that I'm working on this at work. So yeah, did you learn anything about that?
Yeah, so definitely in this case, I was more informed about the situation in which we have various policies for different countries, for example. Yeah, because of course, if you have the translated version of the documents, it's much better to have it in one language. If we have the English version, it will be the best, and just provide a translation for the specific user. But in the situation, if we don't have this kind of translation, because of course, for example, labor law is different in UK and in Croatia and in Poland, so providing this kind of multi-indexes will be much better. Regarding the updating the files, because I think that you think about it regarding in your question. So if we have, for example, the documents that can be changed on the daily, on the weekly, on the monthly basis, it's very important to understand what should be this change frequency. This is for first. What is the approach for changing the documents? Because basically, like in the databases, we can have incremental and full load. So like we want to just cover the documents that has been changed. But the problem sometimes is that, okay, we have the documents version 1, and someone put the same documents with some changes, but not as the same name, but okay, version 2 or brackets 1, brackets 3, brackets 100, and so on and so on. Yeah, so this may be some problem. So regarding this issue, we always propose to have the some full load at some stage. So like, okay, we can provide the daily changes, the daily updating of the files, but after 1 week, after 2 weeks, we should consider providing the full load, because of course we can propose to the users, you should do this this way and don't provide us the version 5 documents, but of course at the end the user is the user and can provide this in the not according to our policy.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, thank you for a great presentation. Maybe a little bit technical regarding infrastructure. I saw on a couple of slides that you had parts of the pipeline that are connected to the Azure functions. So my question is, how are you using them? How are you customizing apart from maybe these basic functionalities of serverless Azure infrastructure? And are you integrating and combining also for the customization LangChain and Llama Index apart from what is out of the box available on Azure?
Yeah, so it all depends on the specific use case. I understand correctly about the length chain, the last part of your question. Yeah. So, for instance, if we have the situation in which we should provide the answer based on the various data sources like databases, documents, APIs, and so on. This is a situation in which long chain will be definitely the best idea to implement. And yeah, I haven't talked about such project, but we also have some deliverables in this area. Regarding the Azure functions, I would say that it's all also depends on the situation that if we want to provide some kind of the security layer regarding the Azure infrastructure, it will be also provided differently than if we have just the, I would say, the easier RAG solution for the chatbot, which should be open and just have some kind of authentication layer on the authentication on the application layer. So in this case, it all depends on this requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Are there are there any more questions? If not, then thank you very much, Pawel.
Thank you very much.